Me, I'm checking out Twitter. It's my new streaming schedule. Awesome. Yeah, see here, it's right here. It says I'm streaming and it's me. Hooray for me. So yeah, my new schedule according to this article is Sunday 7 to 11 p.m., Monday 7 to 11 p.m. I'll never remember that. Tuesday and Friday 9 to 11 p.m. and no stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I stream 4 days a week for a total of 12 hours, 4, 4, 2, and 2, starting on Sunday. This is my last stream in a series of streams on world champions and other strong grandmasters like Morphy, not that he was a grandmaster, Anand today, and Korchnoi. And I also did Smyslov, Tal, Karpov, and Kasparov. Fischer. It's pretty good. So yeah, we had some good times. And then tomorrow I'm off because I'm off on Saturday. And then Sunday we'll start the streams. I'll do 4-hour streams Sunday and Monday night, and 2-hour streams Tuesday and Friday night. Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday I have off. And that's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, which is Saturday, August 3rd, we're having a big Blitz tournament here, our Summer Blitz Championship. $700 guaranteed prizes. The tournament starts at 3 p.m. and ends around 6 p.m. And then I guess Karen and I and possibly Spencer will go to karaoke. I have Perrier, and of course, and one of my viewers on YouTube said he's going to try to get me a Perrier sponsorship. And he sounded confident. I don't know if that means he works for Perrier or his friend does, or he's just a typical internet person who sounds confident and they can't get anything done, which is the most likely, obviously. All right. In fact, not only can he get nothing done, he can do Vishwa nothing, like this guy. So you might notice that it's 9 o'clock and I'm supposed to start at 9:30, but Spencer just got a new couch and I wanted to see it. So I'm going to end the stream between 10 and 10:30 and then go over there and see his couch. Spencer's never had a sofa. So, I mean, since he's lived in Atlanta. He's lived here for 7 months without a sofa. Now he has one. So there you go. I played Karen today. What? Soccer Kevin T. How could you? It's 3 a.m. in Amsterdam. Are you at Schiphol? No, you're probably home. Yeah, well, I have new shoes. So today's lecture will be on Vishy Anand. And one of the reasons I thought about Anand is because, well, not only are we friends, well, we used to be friends, maybe we're acquaintances now, is he came second in the Paris Grand Chess Tour event, the Blitz and Rapid. And he was never in first or second until the last round. The previous 20 rounds or so, he was between third and seventh. But I think the last 9 games on the last day, he scored something like 6 out of 9, and everybody else did terribly. So while they were failing miserably, he was doing pretty well. And obviously, Vishy was a good blitz player in his 20s and early 30s. And now he's 49 like me. And he's still, I guess, one of the best blitz and rapid players because, as I said on previous streams, players aren't as good now as they used to be. And that's why somehow Carlsen's the world champion. But more important, people like Gelfand and Anand, who are 20 years past their best days, are still top in the world because people aren't as good as they used to be. And if you remember, which you don't, about 3 weeks ago, there was a tournament in Israel with an average FIDE rating of about 2,700, sort of a tier 2 top event. And Gelfand played, and Gelfand was rated like 9th or 10 out of 10 players, and he won the tournament. So even though he's 51 or 52 years old, you know, people nowadays just memorize a lot of theory. So the engines think they play well because they play engine moves the first 15, 20 moves. Then they agree to a draw. So the engines are like, good game. But when they play blitz and rapid and they get out of opening theory quickly, then the games are all stupid. All the moves are ridiculous and terrible blunders because the players aren't as good as they used to be. And I think some of that has to do with the breakup of the Soviet Union, or as Trump calls it, Russia. They had to change the name to Russia, according to him. Because those used to be very strong players, and now there's just good players everywhere, but they're not as good. So, anyway, let's see. When are you going to do a Botvinnik stream? Nah, he's no good. Why aren't you lying in the same bed as your girlfriend? But yeah, tell her. Does Ben and Hikaru have beef? No, I'm a vegan. No beef. Did you really just watch the Fisher lecture? Hikaru was looking for some GM matchups. Hikaru doesn't play me on the stream because my blitz and bullet rating is about 800 points less than his. He wants to play people within 300 points or so of his rating. So, yeah. And so forth. How's the tennis practice going? Great. Andrew Yang, Vishwanathan, 60 seconds of commercials, new couch, Amsterdam, hi Ben, hi Jiggly Hostile, don't be so hostile. I played Karen, etc. Let's see, when are you gonna, Ben is a vegan, Twitchy 1332 subscribed. Twitchy seems to subscribe every stream. I'm sort of confused about that. Maybe this guy says he played you today.
Played me what?
I assume chess. He didn't say. But
Did I even play chess today?
Well, he said he played you today.
I did play on chess.com a little bit.
Right. His name is Rufus.
I was multitasking.
Kevin. Here it is, soccer. Kevin T. He said I played Karen today. Exclam.
Oh,
Yeah. Maybe he meant on SpongeBob. Maybe he meant the computer that's Plankton's wife. What do you think? No? All right.
Yeah.
Could be. I definitely played Karen today, exclam, but he misspelled exclam, so I don't know.
Well, that's possible. I did play some games.
Did that guy leave?
Yes. Finally.
Is he banned? The guy who shows up at 2 minutes to 9, he's like, let's go. And I'm like, it's 2 minutes to 9, we're closed. All right.
And then seemed annoyed that I didn't exactly place who he was.
Who was he?
I mean, hundreds of people.
Who was he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he looked familiar, but, like I don't know who he is. Yeah. Why is this arm like this? See, look at that.
Yeah.
See, nothing? Here, look. That can't be right? Let's get Mr. Nailhead in here. I mean, we'll have to turn a screw like half an inch, right? Ooh. Oh. All right. Why are you vegan? Hey, Ben. Hey, Farnsley, how are you? Did you get kicked out of school yet or not yet? You are biased against Magnus. I am. Do I see voting? I hope not. Yeah, the chess.com things aren't too good. What do I think of something? Hello, it's Output Coupler, my favorite viewer or something. My face is a voting board. Well, that's because you don't know how your computer works. You can get rid of that like I did. Somebody get a small child to tell the guy how to get rid of that. That's what he says, but he changes his mind a lot. Tomorrow we're having a big blitz tournament with several players over 2,300. Myself, this IM named Felix, who lives in Texas, but he's in Atlanta for a while. He has several names. Carlos Perdomo, who's an IM. AJ Steigman, who quit chess forever, but now he's playing at our club. So, yeah. I'm registered for classes this semester. Really? Wow. Good job. Good. Thanks for reading my question, not answering. Great job. All right. Well, you're a great viewer. All right. I mean, when you say, like, why are you a vegan? Why should I supposed to answer the same question 800 times? Right? Asking me why I'm a vegan and then a minute later, you're a vegan? A minute later, are you a vegan? That's not a question I want to answer. Right? If you ask me, like, on move 37, do you think a nun made a mistake? Nobody else asked me that question. But if you say, are you a vegan? That just means you don't watch my stream or you're not listening. So I can't every minute explain why I'm a vegan. All right? I'm smarter than you. That's why I'm a vegan. All right? Go to somebody else's stream and ask them why they're not a vegan. Then they'll say, what's a vegan? And then you'll see the kind of intellectual level that we keep around here. Okay. Back to the game. We'll get rid of this. All right. So this is the game Praggnanandhaa. And you would think if your name was Bakro, you would understand the weakness of your Bakro. But he didn't understand that. Okay? And that's too bad. Now, as you all know, except none of you know it, Etienne Bakro was a child prodigy and became grandmaster at the age of 13. Then for some reason, which I don't necessarily understand, he got to a rating of between 2725 and 2760. Pretty good. Like between 10 and 25 in the world, like in that area. And then that was the end of him. That's it. And most of the people, when they're late teenagers, early 20s, and they get a rating like that, and they're number 10, 15 in the world, at some point in their 20s, they get a little bit higher. Even Hikaru got to 2,800, which also no explanation for. But anyway, so Bacro somehow just peaked at that rating and stayed there forever. And now he's older, so his rating has gone down somewhat. So now he's hanging around 2,700. He's hanging around there. But Bacro was a huge talent. And then Bacro ran into two people that made him virtually unknown to people like yourselves, people who don't know a lot about chess, which is my viewers. Joël Lautier, who quit chess because he decided being a millionaire was better than being a chess player. And then MVL, of course. So if Joël Lautier and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave never played chess, you would know who Bacro is because he probably would be the best player in France for 25 years. But Joël Lautier at his best was better than Bacro. MVL's better than Bacro. Now Bacro's older. So, he's number 2, 3, 4 in France for the last 25 years instead of number 1. So you haven't necessarily know anything about him. Now, one of my favorite Anand games, the game itself isn't my favorite, just the end. And I showed this at the camp. Some of the games that I've been showing this week, I showed at the U.S. Chess School in New York about 3 weeks ago. And to my mild surprise, like you guys, the kids didn't know the games. The kids are good at tactics, and they get coached up, and they play well, but they're not necessarily familiar with games that were played 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, or of classic games. And some of the kids were. Some of the kids get training in that, but most of them, they're just like, I know 25 moves of the dragon, and, that's it. All right. That's still 20 moves more than you guys know. All right. How many vegans to beat Anand? 3. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. What did Lautier do? You mean Lautier? Lautier was getting hired by a billionaire, and then he started working on his own. And I think he has just multinational business where he's traveling a lot. Lautier also speaks Russian, and he's in Russia a lot doing business, as well as France. His French, English, and Russian are all very good, and he's a smart guy, and he got in with the right crowd. So that's, it's who you know. And obviously, if you want to be a millionaire, chess isn't necessarily the right vocation unless you're 3 or 4 different guys. Kasparov, Carlsen, Karpov, maybe Kramnik, Anand. There's a few millionaires in chess, but there's 1,500, 1,600 grandmasters, and only like 5 of them are millionaires. So if you could be a millionaire in your own right without playing chess, that would be an odd decision, because then you wouldn't be playing chess anymore. So that's strange, but that's what he decided to do. So, all right. Now, this is the game Bacro versus Anand, and most of the Anand games are going to be from a long time ago when Anand was good. And this lecture is about Anand, as it says. I first met Anand in 1986 in Oakham, England, and I actually still have a plate from that tournament, which I've shown on the air. And I played him in the tournament. I lost a piece in the middle game, and then between the middle game and the end of the game, I won 2 pieces. So I was up a piece at the end, but it was still a draw. But for a lot of the game, I had a big advantage. Then when I lost a piece, I was just losing. And then when I was up a piece, it was a draw. So a very just suspicious game. Anand didn't win that tournament. He tied for second with 6 out of 9. I think Robert Kuczynski won that tournament. I lost to him in the first round. It was a junior tournament for strong juniors, although I was a strong junior, but I was a junior. It's my first time abroad. Don't tell my wife. Okay. Edall subscribed, they've subscribed, etc. All right. Who won Tata Steel last year? You mean this year? You mean 2019 or 2018? Nobody knows. Okay. All I know is they're a steel company and they pollute the environment and they change the name every 5 years to avoid regulatory, So they used to be other names. They keep getting sold out, bought out because they don't go to jail. All right. They're a fine company, by the way. All right. Now, Anand used to be really, 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 really good. The reason he was really good is the same reason that players today like Nepo and Mamedyarov are good, because they can play by the seat of their pants. And this is unusual today. This was a very common thing between like 1950 and 1990, was you could actually play chess. Now the prototypical super GM is like Naka and Giri, not good at chess, not very talented, but they do a lot of study. They play 20, 30 moves of theory and agree to a draw, and they hardly ever win a game. And so those are the players that we think of as strong now, even though they can't play by the seat of their pants. So there are players who can just look at positions and play chess. Okay. Now Naka used to be able to do that, but as soon as he turned like 28, 29, he was finished, which I don't understand. It seems to me certain people, their strength is dissipating in the late 20s instead of in the late 30s like it used to do. So I don't know. Maybe he lost interest. Maybe he's more interested in impressing you guys on the internet and playing, Arena Kings, I guess. That's important too. Why be the world chess champion when you could, play with you losers Bughouse all night? That's also good. All right. So anyway, he impressed those losers at the bait shop. Or was it lunatics? What did Homer say? He impressed those... Let's see, was it losers or lunatics? I don't know. He said something funny. It was 30 years ago. I can't remember. The Simpsons been on a long time. All right. Anyway, Anand used to be really good at messing the position up. His opponent was confused, and then he would win. That's how Nepo and Mamedyarov play now, and those guys are top 10 in the world. And MVL's really good at that too. Okay. Now, Anand isn't good at that now. Anand is good at playing 30 moves of theory and then hoping to draw. And in slow tournaments, Anand comes in 6th or 7th out of 10 players. Something Naka wishes he could do, but he comes in 10th now. All right. And luckily, when it's blitz and rapid, sometimes Anand shows the old magic because he doesn't have to play super accurately, but he can still play the way he used to play, just not in slow chess. And I think Karpov is the same. I think if Karpov, and he's 68 now, if he played slow chess, no good. But blitz chess and rapid, Karpov can think for 20 minutes and still play pretty well. So in blitz and rapid, Karpov is still pretty good. Slow chess is not as good as it used to be. Now again, these players are still quite strong, but I'm comparing them to the way they used to play. For example, if I played tennis with Pete Sampras or John McEnroe, I would not McEnroe. I would definitely lose to Pete Sampras in tennis now. McEnroe, I'm not sure. But I'm not comparing Sampras to me or McEnroe to me. I'm comparing Sampras to Sampras when he was at his best, or McEnroe to McEnroe at his best, and it's not close. In chess terms, it's several hundred rating points. So, Anand playing blitz and rapid at 49 isn't like when he was 29, when he just won every game. All right. Now, this game was played a long time ago, so I was talking to Biggie Smalls about it in Tupac, and they said it was played a long time ago. Right, Karen? Karen agrees. She has to make herself look beautiful.
Hey, I forgot that Archer's still here.
You forgot. He's your only child, except for the other one. Yeah.
But I guess it's fine because school hasn't started back yet.
Right. I'm not going to stream very long. Yeah, I'm already mad at everybody in the chat. They're just terrible. I don't know. They're terrible. Okay. So what?
In a little bit, I might sit here.
All right. Karen's preparing to come on the stream at some point.
Cleaning and I've rated the tournament.
I believe you. Mm-hmm. When you say you rated the tournament, what do you mean?
Well, Spencer rated it, and I told him what to do.
Yeah.
So okay, he rated it. We'll give him credit because he was excited.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I know, but he was excited.
Is he listed as a director?
No, because he has to get his logins
I mean, he's not listed as an
Oh,
assistant.
he's listed as a director,
Yeah,
but he's not the submitting.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's me. All right. Now, all right. So this game was played, what, in 96? Let me see. 2001. I was very close. Yeah, not too close. Okay, this was played in 2001. So what's 49 take away 18? Carry the 1. So Anand was 31 years old. That's pretty good Anand. And this was a rapid game. Now, obviously, white has the 2 bishops because I said so. And the pawn structure is symmetrical. So obviously white's better. And the engine agrees white is better. But we're playing Anand over here when Anand was good. This game was played today. Even you at home would beat Anand easily. Okay, Karen probably just draw because Karen thinks Anand is good. She doesn't want to beat Anand. Okay, but this was a few years ago. So Anand checkmated Bakro in 5 moves. Okay, now, I don't care who you're playing, and I don't care who you are. If you have black here and you checkmate your opponent in 5 moves, that's pretty good. Okay, I don't care if you're playing a beginner. You ain't going to checkmate him in 5 moves. When is the Ben versus Karen tennis stream? Don McLean said it was a long, long time ago. Correct. How did you get a norm on Lee chess? How do you get a norm on Lee chess? What? Our intentions are good. Ben is mad at the chat. I'm betting on Karen to Billie Jean King, old Ben. Betting on Ben 6162 says R.A. Kelly. What an insult. Obviously 6161. 6162 if I play McEnroe. What's that?
I was just trying to say he said the Billie Jean.
Oh, it was Michael Jackson. He said Billie Jean.
That was funny.
Let's see. Hold on to your hats. It's Ben. Correct. Federer's the greatest. Federer's all right. I fell in love with Sampras at the 1990 U.S. Open when he beat Agassi in the final. Man, Sampras was good. That was some good Sampras. Yeah, obviously, my favorite player growing up my whole life when I was a kid watching tennis was Ivan Lendl. I liked the way there was sawdust all over the court when he was done. Then he would go play 18 holes of golf. Okay, and still look like Frankenstein monster. Pretty good. Okay, so Anand played Queen H5. And in this position, white has one move which maintains the advantage according to the engine, and that's to take the knight and then take the pawn. Then white's up a pawn. Okay, and grandmasters don't like giving up their 2 bishops, so he didn't, and he blundered instead. I don't know why he didn't play bishop takes b6. That seems, winning a pawn seems good. But instead he played rook to d6, which has more threats. Maybe he'll double up on the bubble up. Maybe he'll take all this stuff. And this is actually a blunder, and now black is close to winning. Now, if you're taking notes, which I recommend my students do when I lecture, don't blunder when you're playing 30-year-old Anand. Don't do that. Okay? So Anand played knight c4, which is correct. And then obviously white played rook takes c6, which was the point of rook d6. Now rook takes c6 loses immediately, and an engine wouldn't play rook takes c6, but that's the consistent move. You don't play rook d6 and then play like rook back. I mean, you got to take on c6. The engine says queen d1 is the best move. Frankly, ridiculous. Okay, he took, which is another mistake. And now Anand can have an advantage with knight a5, forking the queen and the rook. And this is actually very complicated because after knight a5, this is the engine line. And white has 2 bishops and a pawn for the exchange, but still it's very good for black. So, I mean, rook d6, rook takes c6 is terrible, but it was a rapid game. Can I help you? I thought you were, 999, 6-1, then Ben tires 6-2. Karen cries in humiliation. Well, pretty accurate. I thought I beat you 6-1, 6-1. He said I'd be so tired the second set you would get a second game. And I don't get tired when I'm competing. Then there's no tired. I'm tired later. Okay. I may die that night, and then it's a Pyrrhic victory. Right, sweetie? And Pyrrhic victory is named after whom?
Pyrrhus?
Correct. Wow. You're the only one who's heard of Pyrrhus who's watching the stream. Me, you, and then there's just the gawking rabble. Okay. That's a Pyrrhic victory if I beat you in tennis and then I die.
Mm-hmm.
That's, what's that? Oh. It's Archer. All right, so Karen's coming on the stream. Don't tell Archer. All right.
Does he? I mean, he could get on, but there's just. I think he prefers to do it when it's hand and brain.
As we say in French, you have to scoot over. It's going to move in a second. Also, I'm really tall for some reason.
Yeah.
I think because I'm taller than you.
I look like a little
Now this is like you and Holden. Holden's like a foot taller than you. You were standing next to Holden. I'm like, where'd you go? Yeah. Also, you probably weigh more than Holden. Man, what an insult. Do you think you weigh more than Holden?
What do you mean?
He's so thin.
No, he weighs slightly more than me.
Really? He's so thin. Yeah.
Yeah, he does weigh a little bit more than me.
I think you weigh about the same as Matt Larson, and he's 6'2.5".
Mm-hmm.
But he's
true.
pretty thin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. And I weigh more than you, right?
And I'm not even considered a fat person.
Not yet.
But
we'll work on that because her birthday is always near Thanksgiving, so we got to fatten her up.
But yeah, he's several inches taller and barely.
Let's see. You spelled Pyrrhus incredibly wrong. If you go to the internet and look up the periodic table and look at the word yttrium, is that your favorite element? Then you'll learn how to spell Pyrrhus. I mean, you still won't spell it, but yeah. Yeah, I was playing chess before I was born. Being born would hamper my play. Okay, so Anand played knight takes e3, confusing the audience, because now white can take the bishop or the knight. Are you confused?
Yeah, this is...
Okay, and here he made a mistake. The correct move, again, is the non-human move. What's funny about this, when I started showing this position, every Bacro move was bad. Like mistake, mistake, mistake. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be 2,700 feet, you got to make a mistake every move. Then, okay, so taking the knight is a very anti-human move because it looks so stupid. And this looks normal, just taking the bishop. But this is a blunder. Okay. Now, we do a Zwischenzug, right? You were thinking he'll take the bishop. But before he did that, since the knight is protecting all these squares, which the queen can escape to, we attack the queen. The queen can't go to those squares because I said so, right? Man, that queen can't go anywhere. Can that queen go anywhere? So the only two squares the queen can safely go to are here, right? But this sort of walks into knight c2. Mm-hmm. So he played?
Queen a4.
Right. And as Homer Simpson would say, the two sweetest words in the English language, default. Now, if you thought that was funny, which you didn't, that's the episode Homer becomes an astronaut and goes into space. So that's when you know why?
Because I ran out of ideas.
Well, close. Your answer might be right. Homer and Barney, one of them is going to be an astronaut, and Barney wins because they do some tests and they're like, all right. Then Barney gets drunk and passes out, and they're like, all right, I guess you win by default. And then Homer's like, woohoo. All right. Okay, so now you see how the knight's attacked. You agree, and then you would move the knight.
In a heartbeat.
Right, but Anand played rook b2 because that's the computer move, and the idea is obvious. If you take queen e2, that's annoying. Mm-hmm. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's annoying, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I got to tell you something funny I saw on Twitter today. Speaking of pizza pie, it's sort of apropos of nothing, but you'll like it. Somebody on Twitter, I don't know who it was, they're not a friend of mine, they said, I don't understand, why do pizzas have this size medium and small? What are those? Yeah, I agree with that guy. Yeah, or maybe it was a woman, I don't know. It was funny either way. Now you'll notice white's not doing very well here.
Right.
Because he's getting mated. Okay. And what would you say about these pieces? What's he doing on the bubble up? Doubling up on the bubble up. Okay. So now, are you ready? You sitting down? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Bacro, he said, queen e2 is annoying. I'm going to stop queen e2. So what did he do?
Rook Rookie one.
That's what he did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Vishy said, I got 2 guns, 1 for each of you. No, he didn't say that. Now, you remember how Bacro stopped queen e2 with rook e1?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what Anand did?
I don't know.
Queen e2.
Okay.
Is that what you would do?
No.
Yeah. Do you understand?
No.
Exactly. The crowd likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Is Archer watching?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Are you impressed, Archer?
I think he's goofing off.
Yeah. Notice Black's threatening everything. Queen takes rook, queen takes f2, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he takes... See how it's mate?
Oh, yeah.
If it was puzzle rush, it would go here, then it would go here, then it would go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like all that? Yeah. Man, so psychologically, it's hard to recover when you make a move to stop a move and the guy plays the move. Then you're like, wait a minute, I stopped that move. Yeah. So queen e2. I never get to do that. When my opponents play rook e1, I just can't play queen e2. Yeah, rook e1 didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, Anand was good. So there was some position where Anand's slightly worse. His opponent has the 2 bishops, and then he runs him over like a truck. And he wasn't playing doofus. He was playing a guy who became a grandmaster at 13, and he actually won a match against Smyslov when he was 13. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 2,700 FIDE for 20 years, but he looks like he's the worst, because Anand used to be good. That's the Anand I know. The old Anand, which funnily enough is the young Anand.
Mm-hmm.
And now the new Anand is the old Anand.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's still pretty good.
He's okay, but Michael Jordan's pretty good too, and so is Sampras, but they're not as good as they used to be.
No.
I'm
I
comparing,
know.
right. And again, I keep telling them players aren't good anymore, and they're like, players are the best. Carlson's the best. I'm alive now.
Well,
they weren't alive when Bachmann was playing, so they're just like, Carlson.
But Anand had some extra good, and so he lost some, and he's still
That's right. He had some extra good. That's right.
still
Yeah.
extra good.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So this game I would refer to as Vichy France, because Vichy versus a guy from France. Gary Oldman is young, but Gary Newman is old. Gary Oldman's not young. Man, talk about a guy who's not young.
I haven't seen him lately.
Yeah, that's true. You know what his breakout movie was? The answer is Shocking.
I almost said a Val Kilmer movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sid and Nancy. He played Sid Vicious.
I saw that.
Yeah, you're not old enough to see that even now. How'd you see when it came out?
I saw it.
Man, no wonder. That explains.
It was
Mr.
hard.
Waffle Truck subscribe. What's that?
It was hard to watch.
Yeah, that
razor
movie.
blade
That
scene.
movie's tough. Yeah.
That was difficult.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's great. Yeah, he was great in True Romance. Well, he was in The Professional, right? He was the cop.
I didn't see that.
Is he Professional? And we're married? Is he Professional, really? Natalie Portman? Jean Reno? Gary Oldman? Come on. Terrible. This guy said, Vichy France, you aren't Lyon. You aren't lying?
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry I said like Lyon. Yeah, very good. All right. Frankly, horrible. All right. The Fifth Element, I didn't like The Fifth Element. Yeah, didn't like it. But obviously Gary Oldman's good. I mean, he's Gary Oldman. Yeah. All right. Also, he's always playing like Commissioner Gordon or something in the Batman movies, which is like a throwaway role. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anyway, he played Queen E2, and then Bacro resigned like a grandmaster. So we went from a position where Black had few prospects and was probably trying to draw, I mean, that's what Anand would do now, to give them the smackdown and the beatdown. Both of them. Okay. Now we'll get to another Anand game. This is an actual game with Vasily Ivanchuk. How much wood could Ivanchuk chuck if Ivanchuk could chuck wood? The answer is fries. I have a funny Ivanchuk story, which I've told on the air, but it's been several years, and you've never heard it. Ivanchuk was playing in the World Junior, I want to say 87, but I'm close. I'm within a year. And he was deep in thought, and he made a rook sacrifice, which won. He played the rook sacrifice, hit the clock, stood up and went, ah, and then sat back down. Yeah. It's a very, exciting moment. Yeah, the truth hurts. Yeah. Yeah, he's crazy like Fox News. There was a funny story. I got a lot of Ivanchuk stories. You know how the stanchions are there and they separate the gawking rabble from people like us? Ivanchuk was playing in the tournament. I don't know what tournament it was. And there was and he was on the other side because, he's walking around. Then he came back and he fell over and the biggest disaster ever. Yeah. Yeah, Ivanchuk's tough. Okay, so this is Ivanchuk Anand. And I like this game because Vishy played like me, except he played good. Right? He didn't play well, he played good. And this is like the opening I play with black, but I never get to win like this. I just play the first few moves like Anand, and then I need him to take over. And again, this game was played a long time ago because Vishy was good. This was played in 1998. Always retreat. Ivanchuk, yeah. Oh yeah, Twitchy's right. In a blitz tournament, Ivanchuk mated Carlsen, and when he mated him, he did some. I don't know what he did. He did what I said basically. Wow, he did something funny. He went like this, and he mated him, and it was like really funny. Yeah, yeah, he was really acting strange when he mated him. That was good. Okay. Also, when Ivanchuk won the World Blitz, right, like 2 years ago ish, there's a video. He's playing checkers while they're having the ceremony. They're like third place, Carlsen, second place, Kramnik, whatever. First place, Ivanchuk. And they're showing Ivanchuk playing checkers with somebody because he's good at checkers. He's like 2,000 strength. And before he got his first place, he made some sacrifice where then he could like quadruple jump. And he was like really excited about it because he's playing like some doofus like Joe Bava. Yeah. And then they said first place Ivanchuk, and they're like, dude, you won the tournament, like a huge amount of money, like $100,000. And he was like, oh, and he ran up there like, what? I'm playing checkers. Yeah. So. Also, he claimed he didn't represent the Ukraine in the Olympiad because he was going to a checker tournament. So there you go. Yeah. Ivanchuk's a little crazy. Yeah. Okay, so this is Ivanchuk Anand from 1998. What opening is this? Here, I'll show you this position. That'll help.
Okay, Sicilian.
Right. And normally, Anand would play a6 here and play the knight, or if that's what good players do. Now, this position I have a lot with black, but I play knight c6 and then d6. I've had this position a million trillion effing times, right? Yeah, that's from Reservoir Dogs, obviously. I didn't say the effing.
Obviously.
Okay. And you know what they were talking about? The quote I'm doing now? Man, that would be hard for them. They're Normally I would let them try to figure it out, but okay. So you know the song "The Night the Lights Went On in Georgia" by Vicki Lawrence. He says, "I've heard that song a million trillion effing times. I never realized that she's the one who shot Andy." Then they're like, "Of course." They talk about it. Yeah, but I was never listening to the song and so forth. This was in the restaurant scene.
Oh.
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well. All right. Okay. So Bishop G5. This is named after Rouser. It's called the Richter Rouser. Okay. And it's move 6, so it's a 6.0 on the Richter scale. Right? No. All right. That's right. That was Chris Penn. Very good. A famous actor's brother. Sean Penn's brother, Chris Penn.
Yeah.
And he's dead. He died in his early 40s.
I remember that.
Yeah. Truth hurts. Yeah. One of the great scenes from Reservoir Dogs, if you ever see the movie again, or you remember, which you don't. I've seen Reservoir Dogs a lot. Don't tell Karen. Chris Penn has a fake fight with Vic Vega, which is supposed to be John Travolta's brother in a separate movie. He's Vincent Vega. We'll talk about that later. And that's played by, what's his name? He's in all of the movies. He's in all of Tarantino's movies. Somebody tell me his name. Michael Madsen. Yeah. And they have like a fake wrestling fight. And it looks like, that was some serious fake wrestling. Like they were throwing each other to the ground. So I was like, man, if they shot that more than once, they're probably like go to the hospital. Like, because those are huge guys.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Madsen, if you remember, the ear cutting incident, right?
I remember that.
Okay. So what happened was, when they shot the scene, the cop ad-libbed the line, like, "Don't do that, I have a family," right? When Michael Madsen heard that, he had just had a son. His newborn son was like a week old, and he walked out crying because he wasn't expecting that line. Yeah.
I think I remember.
But in the movie, he wasn't walking out crying. He was throwing gasoline on the guy and, stuck in the middle with you. Okay. Yeah, this guy said stuck in the middle with you. There you go. Right. Yeah, Chris Penn was a pretty good actor. Unfortunately, his brother's Sean Penn, so you don't know that. Man, harsh. Like, who's that terrible actor whose brother was good? He's always acting insane. Joaquin Phoenix. River Phoenix was great. Then he died immediately because he did more drugs than anybody. And then Joaquin Phoenix. Now, the worst, are you sitting down? The worst, I'm serious now.
Okay.
Jim Belushi.
The worst.
He's the worst. John Belushi's like the greatest person who ever lived in like acting and comedy, and he died, drug overdose. Then Jim Belushi became famous.
Yeah.
The only comparison I can make is Dick Van Dyke and Jerry Van Dyke. That's the only comparison. Dick Van Dyke is the greatest genius who ever lived. Jerry Van Dyke is worse than Jim Belushi. Wait, who's worse?
I didn't even know there was a Jerry.
Right. Yeah, he's in everything. He's in TV. Yeah. He's the worst. Right, yeah, what he said. Yeah. No, John's like the funniest guy who ever lived. Frank Stallone, that doesn't even count. Yeah, come on. And Chris Farley wasn't as funny as anybody I'm talking about here.
And Coach.
All right. I've never been so mad. Okay. Now, I've had this position a million trillion times. Okay. That's how we got started on this. And then this is the rouser. Notice White's playing bishop g5, so White wants to castle queenside, getting the bishop out of the way, right? So queen d2, and then castle queenside. Okay. Now, in this position, I used to play bishop e7 every time. I have a million games. Been playing a6 lately. Okay. Now, in this position, the most common move is f4, which I faced a lot. Ivanchuk played f3, breaking a very important rule.
Never play f3.
Yes, I wonder who won. Okay. So Anand played knight takes and a6. He wants to play b5. Now, if you don't trade knights, let's say you play a6, b5. Well, then your knight's hanging.
Yeah.
So you got to trade knights. Then you play a6, b5. Okay, so h4, b5. Exciting, right? Okay. Now, remember, this is the younger Anand. If this was today, Anand would have resigned already. And Ivanchuk would have resigned because he's even older than Anand. So they would both be resigning. Okay, but this is when they were like good. Okay, always play. It's White's move. Always play.
King b1.
There you go. Good job. Okay, queen c7. Put it in h. Okay, it looks like normal chess, right? Okay, now this move I don't recommend. He played knight e2. Maybe he's trying to get his knight over here. I don't know what he's doing. I don't like knight e2. Okay, rook a c8, already threatening here. Okay, queen retreating, defending it. Maybe his knight wants to go here. I don't know. Rook a, so black's position looks very harmonious. White looks like he's just like moving around and doing nothing. There's no attack on black's king. These haven't moved yet. And this is all like where it goes. Right. I was talking to Beck about this position, and he said that's where it's at. You know what he had?
Dun, 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 dun.
2 turntables and a microphone.
Yeah.
That's where it's
I
at.
can remember the lyric.
Trench Raid subscribed.
Yeah.
White is worse here. White's much worse here. Much worse. Okay, now when you play this move, you know something's gone wrong. Rook e1. What? What's rook e1? Okay, now this is amazing. Black played a very anti-positional move here because he wanted to play the move d5. So that's why Ivanchuk played rook e1. So let's analyze. Let's say black plays d5 now, right? You want to play d5. Okay. Now, white plays e5, confusing the audience. It looks like it hangs a pawn, right? But now bishop g3, where's the queen go? Exactly. Like somewhere over here, right? But the queen's getting trapped over here, and the engine says white's winning. So like, let's say you go here, I got knight d4, See, the queen's no good right here. Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, and the engine says this is the best play.
Oh no.
Right. Okay. So Ananda's like, I want to play d5. I got everything on d5, but he sees that e5 is coming. Anand stops e5 and plays e5. Normally, this is a very anti-positional move in the Sicilian, so all of my students would play it and then go, I don't know why I lost. And I'm like, I told you not to play e5, and they're like, oh yeah, I won't play it until the next game. And then I'm like, okay. Now, when you play e5, you want to play d5. Normally, there's a bishop here and there's a knight here, but none of that's happening. So I'm going to play d5 next move. And then you're not going to play e5 because it's illegal. Okay. And Ivanchuk says no. So notice that Anand stopped these moves. Now this move is an anti-positional move, or so it seems. That's the engine move. That's why Anand was good. Calculate. So Ivanchuk took over d5. So he took this knight, and then he defended d5 with knight c3. He took over. Oh. Okay. And then the engine says that's no good. It says Ivanchuk shouldn't do that. Notice Ivanchuk still hasn't moved these pieces. Okay, bishop g5. That's a good bishop. And then queen a5. All right, now, if it was black's move here, what do you think of this exchange sacrifice? Pretty good. Okay, and b4 is pretty good. So Ivanchuk played knight d5, stopping the exchange sacrifice. Takes. Now you're going to vote. Only you're going to vote. I'm not going to let them vote. I'm mad at them. You could take with the queen or the pawn. Which way do you vote?
Let me think. I'm never very good at this. Maybe the pawn, because then the rook is hitting. Oh no. I'm not sure.
Okay, it's a tactical answer, not strategical.
Oh, okay.
If you take with the queen,
Yeah.
then queen takes rook.
Oh,
Right. You have to take with the pawn.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Right. And now you will know his name is the Lord when he sets his vengeance upon him. So what did he do that would meet with that criteria? That you will know his name is the Lord. What's the only move black can make of that ilk? Ow.
Sure.
I like White's set up here. It's got the back rank all controlled pretty well. What's the most aggressive move in chess history?
The most aggressive.
What's the most aggressive move? What's the craziest, most aggressive move? Do it. Do it.
No, I don't know.
You do, just do it.
There are a lot of crazy aggressive
No,
moves,
there's
but they
just
don't
one.
make sense to me.
So name one of them.
No.
Name one.
I mean, you can sacrifice different
Show me how.
pieces.
Show me.
Okay, you can sacrifice the queen on
Okay.
a couple different squares.
Okay, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like that.
You could
Okay.
sack the rook.
You like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can't take with the queen, as we discussed, because of this. We already discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take it, because otherwise I took a pawn and I'm mating you. The engine does not take it. The engine's like, yeah, I'll go here and lose. See the number?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now you don't get more than one chance. If black makes random legal move, white plays bishop d3 and develops his bishop and stops that. So this is your only chance. Okay? Yeah. Queen takes a2, the king can't go back to b1. So now when black plays rook c8 check, white's king's going to go for a walk. Right? And these pieces aren't this. I mean, that's just not good defense. This bishop's a monster. This rook's a monster. The queen's a monster. And even though I'm down a rook and it's white's move, what does the engine say?
Yeah.
Right? It says, yeah,
8.08
for black.
for black.
This is when Anand was good. Anand would just tear you up like Bakro. He just tore him up. Ivanchuk's pretty good. Tears him up. What about black's king? Pretty safe.
Pretty safe.
Pretty safe. Okay. Now, what's the number one engine move?
Let's see. F4?
Is that what you would play? No.
No.
But it's the number one engine move. Ivanchuk played F4. Truth hurts. He's trying to get some escape square for his king and block the bishop. The pawn doesn't matter. He's up a rook. Check. 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 Rook C1. Good finishing move. That's the skewer and a half. He skewers all the pieces. Yeah, that's a big skewer. Okay, now Ivanchuk resigned. The only move that makes any sense to me is Queen E2. I don't see a move that makes sense other than that.
Yeah.
The Genja doesn't give Queen E2, so that's not good. Queen E2, and now everything wins. Queen to the 6th rank wins. The most obvious is here because you're also attacking the rook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you play here, then you get checkmated. Check, check, and then mate. Or, if he goes here, mate. That was good development, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you play here, everything wins. Bishop G3, Queen G3, Queen D4 is the quickest make, as the engine says so. The engine says this is plus 76. That's the spirit. Now it says mate in 17. All right, so after Rook C1, he resigned. Now I'm not reading the chat, but I know the chat is saying, I don't understand. Why do I have a funny voice? The chat is like, if I take the queen and you take the rook, then white has 2 rooks for a queen. What's wrong with that? I'll go show you. Let's take the rook, and now white has 2 rooks for a queen. White's getting checkmated, and white's down so many pawns I can't count that high. Let's see if Karen can. How many extra pawns does black have?
Let's see.
Exactly.
4?
Yeah. So you don't have a 2 rooks for a queen. I have 4 extra pawns, and your king's getting mated. And I have 3 passed pawns. The engine says plus a billion. This isn't playable. Yeah. So you can see it in a position like this. If you were like walking around the tournament room, you'd be like, wow, black's doing pretty good. White's king is here. It's like a chess camp game. White's king running around and all piece on the back rank, right? It looks like just a chess camp, like white does not know how to play. And when the good players like Kasparov, Karpov, and Anand were good, that's what they did. Now they're like, oh, the tournament's all the way over there. I give up. Horrible. And still Anand had a great tournament, surprising the audience. Okay, now earlier we were talking about the best player in France before MVL, and that was Joël Lautier. Is he your favorite? And we discussed earlier on the stream, in other streams, that which cartoon character Joël Lautier looked like. Do you remember that? We talked about that.
I remember talking about
Who did he look like? Let's see if they remember in the chat. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Butthead, of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I'm going to remember.
Well, truth hurts.
I remember talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really seen Beavis.
All right. So that was a pretty good game. I look younger than usual. I am getting younger. Although not in September. Then I get older. Okay. So Anand Lautier. Now don't blink. When this game was played, I remember, and I was like crying nonstop. So you won't cry, right? What if you do cry? You'd be like, wow. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Remember I told you Anand would run over people, and then I showed you examples? He actually went to jail for this one because he really ran him over. Okay. Now, if you're a fan of John Bartholomew, please close your eyes for a few seconds. Because in this position, what did Lautier play? Remember, Bartholomew is the hint. If you don't know, you can look in the chat. They all watch Bartholomew. I'm not looking at the chat, but they all know.
D5?
Yeah, they all know. Yeah, they all watch Bartholomew.
That's what he always plays?
It's the Scandinavian, a.k.a. the Scandi.
Oh.
Yeah. So he plays D5. Okay. Now you can also play the center counter and play knight F6. Now, of all the Finegolds, Spencer, my dad, my brother, me, the 4 of us, who played the Scandinavian all the time with black?
I don't know.
My dad.
Oh.
He had black in this position a million trillion times. Knight f6 is very common. My dad always took with the queen. Okay, and my dad usually played queen a5. All right. Still theory. Now, Anand played very aggressively because this is the young Anand. I'm always telling you to play aggressively, and then you play bishop e2, and knight back to d1, and you move your pawn back to d2, and your knight back to g1. And I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. Now, this is how you play aggressively. You watching? Mm-hmm. Knight e5, threatening this. You agree? Mm-hmm. And then g4. Rawr, mad. Right? And then h4. That's how you play aggressive.
No, I mean, the king's not very safe.
Who's king?
White.
Oh, yeah, that king's getting attacked by a lot of black pieces.
They could attack.
Which black piece is going to attack this king? You know what's not safe?
What?
This bishop's that's trapped. That's not safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lautier ignored it, developed a piece. He moved his rook up. You like doing that.
Do I?
No. Bishop. He encountered his bishop.
I do a lot of rook lifts.
Okay. Now, you see how the rook's attacked? Mm-hmm. Where did Anand move his rook?
E5?
He didn't move his rook.
Oh.
He said, aha, your bishop's trapped. And Lautier said, no talking. But Anand kept talking because Lautier said it in French, so he didn't understand him. Mm-hmm. F3, trapping the bishop. Never trap the bishop. Then I could just go take your bishop. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, Anand sacked the exchange. That's good. Yeah, this bishop's not too good, is it? Mm-mm. No. Okay, takes. And now he didn't take the rook, because after bishop takes, he's just going to lose his bishop. So he played this. Now the rook's hanging, this pawn is hanging, the rook is hanging, right? Mm-hmm. Complicated. Okay, obviously queen takes rook is important, so rook b1. Queen takes, rook takes b7. So white's going to lose this rook for sure, but then white's going to take this piece and take this piece. So two pieces are better than a rook. Mm-hmm. This piece is a goner, so the engine knows that white's winning. Lautier had played rook d8, trying to get some counterplay. And now Anand played the computer move because Anand used to be good. Used to be. Okay? This move is unbelievable. What he did now is the most incredible thing you've ever seen. This is why I was crying. New move, subscribe. Thank you. All right. This is way too hard even to explain to the crowd. I can't even explain what's going on here. Okay. If you see a million moves ahead, it makes perfect sense. All right. Now, pay attention. I'm going to explain this once. If I move my bishop, I'm threatening queen takes queen. Okay. So I'd like to play bishop check, but there's no check. If I move my bishop, black is going to play queen takes queen. Okay. Now, if I play bishop g6, I said if, then I'm threatening rook takes e6 check because the f pawn is pinned. So I'll show you. Here, check. Okay. And then black would play king f8, right? And black's winning, unfortunately. And the best move is bishop a3 check with the idea of checkmate. But black can sacrifice his knight, stopping the checkmate, and this is fine for black. It's still complicated, but it's fine for black. It's complicated. Okay. Because of that variation, Anand played h6. And Lautier didn't get it. Lautier didn't understand h6. So what Lautier needs to do now is take this rook, bishop takes, white takes the bishop, and white's winning. But Lautier is like, h6, what's h6 all about? So he took it. Okay, now that variation I showed you wins for white, because after king f8, I have bishop takes h6, because of what just happened. Chess Noobs 800M just subscribed, still. So watch what happens. You watching? Bishop g6. If you take the queen, I take on here. And now if you go here, remember I played bishop a3 check before, but it didn't work? That works. That's why he played h6, and then checkmate. Okay. So I mean, h6, bishop g6 is incredible. Because he sees h6, he sees bishop g6, sees it doesn't work, but it does work if there's a pawn here that he can take with check, which he has to see. I mean, this is moving a piece that's pinned after he sacks his queen, and now the square is open. That's crazy. What is he, a computer? Okay. Now, Lautier was 2,700 and the best player in France. So he didn't go down like no punk. He didn't like get mated like I just showed you. He played knight e7. Now, this is hanging like 27 times. This rook is pinned. This isn't even check anymore. And the queen's hanging. That's a pretty good move. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Anand trades queens and plays rook d3. This is an incredible move. So the idea is, I want to play rook here, check, and win your rook. But you'll retreat this rook. So Anand's like, no, you won't. I'll go here. And that way, if you trade rooks on d3, which he didn't do, but if he does, now I could take with the bishop. My bishop's not hanging. Remember I showed you this threat?
Yeah.
Black can easily stop that threat, but then he loses his bishop. So material's equal, but I have these two huge threats. Huge, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I showed it to Bernie Sanders. What did he say? Huge. Arbepe gave 10 subs. You're the best person who ever lived. My standards aren't very high, but yeah. Thank you, sir. 10 gifted subs. Okay. Now, Lautier didn't want to lose like that. And the one thing that black has going in this position is this bishop is attacked 700 times. So if you trade rooks, it's not attacked at all. Mm-hmm. However, this is annoying. So Lautier played here. Pretty good move. Mm-hmm. He stops rook b8 check, and the bishop is still hanging 3 times. Okay, good D. Rook takes, king takes. And Anand is like, remember when I was threatening this and this, but my bishop was hanging? So he retreats his bishop. Now it's not hanging, but he still has the 2 big threats. This piece is a goner. That piece can't be saved. Yeah. So now if you look at the numbers, it's not good, right? And if you play bishop h3, Shirov style, and I play king g3, you can't go to f1 because Anand just defended that. So the only move that makes any sense at all is bishop h1, if you want to save your bishop, right? And so this position is ridiculous. Every move wins. Bishop b2 attacking the rook and threatening bishop f6. Bishop d2 and bishop a5 check wins. Rook check, knight c8, bishop takes h6 wins. And you can see all the moves are +5, +6, +7. So in this position, Lautier resigned. This is when Anand saw 1,000 moves ahead in all variations. So he just tactically outplayed his opponents. This is the Anand I know. Now I see the Anand play and I'm like, oh, right? 30 moves, draw. But in Blitz and Rapid, he can still get it back. Yeah. And then this guy is world champion in his 40s and the other guy quit chess. See, that's what you get. Yeah. But that was an amazing game. I mean, Anand just played all tactics and it was all correct.
There were some noises.
Yeah, the guy donated 10 subs, so it kept going bling. Yeah, right. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Got to get his groove back. Yeah, I agree. All right, go Vishy. All right. Next game is against Gelfand. Before we have the coup d'etat. No? I'm kidding, but yeah. Sounded good. Okay, this is the game on Gelfand. Whoever wins is older, or whoever loses is older. I don't know, whichever is funnier. Okay, and this was a Sicilian, and as you know, Gelfand is an expert on the Najdorf Sicilian. It's always playing the Najdorf, right? Okay. And Anand's like, now you're not going to play the Najdorf this game. I'm going to play like a 2000 player who plays this silly opening. Now, which 2000 player who comes to our club every day, except when he's in Turkey, plays this with white?
In Turkey. Doric?
Doric, yeah, right. Doric always plays this.
Okay.
Yeah. Then he gets in the smackdown. All right, so this isn't common at the top level because the Grand Prix attack, early f4, isn't considered to give white an advantage. But at least it takes Gelfand out of his Najdorf prep. So, okay, so they played sort of normal. Okay, normal stuff. And the thing is, a lot of times in this variation, you want to play e6 before you play d6. But he played d6 on move 2. So that makes f4 make a little more sense. All right, d3. He plays e6 anyway. Obviously, if you're going to play d5, you would rather play d5 in one move than d6, then d5. So this isn't considered the best way to play, but it's okay. Now he played like Doric again, queen e1. Here comes the queen. It's very standard mating attack. It's not seen at the top level very often, but expert level all the time. Okay, now black made a move I don't like, h6. I don't like moving the pawns over there. Bishop b3, making the bishop safe. And then e5, roar. Now the problem with e5 is it gives up the f5 square. So he played knight f5, or as I like to say.
Knight f5.
Right. Now he put it in h. You see this diagonal's open to the king? Not anymore. Knight d4, knight e4, just normal kind of moves. Okay, and now Gelfand decided to take a pawn. Give a pawn, take a pawn. So he took the pawn on e5, but this king isn't very safe. Not good. Yeah. And now Gelfand played a move I would never in my life think of. I'm not saying I wouldn't play it. I said I wouldn't think of it. It wouldn't occur to me that this is a move.
Why was it better to take the knight than the bishop?
Take the knight,
Or did I see something?
what? Oh. Well, this knight's protecting this pawn.
Okay.
And also you can't take the bishop because I have a Zwischenzug. If you take the bishop, okay, now I can take check.
Okay.
Then I take your knight. But if you take my knight and I take check, now you play a Zwischenzug, you take the knight because my queen's hanging. So it's a lot of tactics there. But the other reason, other than it doesn't work, is this pawn is attacked 1,000,000 trillion times, right, by black, and knight takes knight gets rid of the defender. So now he just wins a pawn. So black's up a pawn, but at what cost? Right? Okay. Notice every game, Anand plays super aggressive sax material. Is that how you do it? You got to do that and put pressure on the opponent. Also, you should see 20, 30 moves ahead in all variations. Also helps. Okay. Now, remember I told you I would never consider black's move here? And I'm looking at the engine. The engine also doesn't consider it. So I feel better now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, normally I would say, obviously, Gelfand's better than me. But what's my record against Gelfand? Exactly. G5. No wonder I beat this guy. That's a terrible move. Okay, horrible. The engine wants to play bishop e3, attacking this pawn again. Anand played queen g3. And now he castled, and Anand, who's a big fan of Popeye, obviously, said I had all I can't stands no more. Now, when Popeye said that, what did he do?
I don't know.
He ate spinach. They beat everybody up.
Oh.
Once he eats spinach, that's it. Once
I remember
once
that.
Popeye eats his spinach, it's over. Now, I don't know about you, but you can't eat canned spinach out of the can because you can't. So normally he should just drop dead, but it's a cartoon, so you get super powerful. You ever open a can and eat spinach? No. Nobody's ever done that.
No, not spinach.
No. Okay, but now the engine doesn't do this, but this is Anand, the young Anand. Bishop takes g5. He's like, if you're going to play g5 in castle, I'm going to do this. Okay, here comes the mating attack. Again, not good defense over here to the mating attack. Now the engine defends and says there's no problem, but the engine's not playing Anand. Also, Gelfand played the engine move, knight g6. Okay, and now Anand's at a Paul Morphy. And the more the engine thinks, the more it says white's getting okay. Which white piece is doing Vishwa nothing?
Oh, the rook on a1.
So he played rook e1. Yeah. And now lots of moves look reasonable, so it's hard to pick like an engine move because it all looks sort of reasonable. The engine, after thinking a while, plays b5. That way the bishop can get out, maybe c4. Gelfand played queen e7. which the engine says is fine.
But you know what I always do?
Yeah.
You know, I go munching some pawns. So
Oh, you would take this pawn?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? That's what I do.
Hold on. You're not worried about like queen here and mate? Man.
Yeah.
How's this pawn related to the position? You're up a piece.
Yeah.
These pieces are no
I
good.
was telling you.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see if you're better than Gelfand. Maybe. Okay. The engine says after that it's equal because if knight takes f7, that's pretty complicated. Okay. He played this, queen e7. Now Anand played the scariest move ever. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm here if you have to hold me. That's the engine move too. Notice you can't take the rook because your queen's hanging. Okay. Now Gelfand played the engine move again, bishop f6. Okay. And then Anand played the engine move, knight takes e6. Now, if you're not an engine and you're like, yeah, that looks okay, I sack a piece, I sack some more pieces, I have an attack, maybe I win, maybe I don't. That's not what the top players do. Anand just calculates every variation, and he decides that's the best. He looks many, many, many moves ahead. Doesn't do that now, but that's what he used to do. The engine still likes black, and here's why when you play super aggressive, but the engine doesn't like it, it works out a lot. Because the engine sees every legal move and sees millions of moves, and we don't. The move that's correct for black is impossible to find. If somebody types it in the chat, that's because they're using an engine, right? So nobody's going to type the right move in the chat unless they're cheating. Then, oh, I think this is the right move, then they're cheating, right? So, for example, if this was a blitz game in like one of those stupid chess.com tournaments, Arena Kings or Title Tuesday, when black plays the right move here, they know that he's cheating. Nobody plays the right move here, right? Yeah, and the moves that they're suggesting, you got to be kidding me. Most of the moves they're suggesting are illegal. That's legal. Oh, he corrected his illegal move to his legal move. Right. So nobody's suggesting the right move because they're not cheating with an engine because they're like, all right, I guess I won't do that. Right. As soon as somebody types the right move, we know that they're cheating. Now, of course, Gelfand's not going to play the engine move because it's too hard. He played the obvious move. What's the obvious move for black? He took the knight.
Yeah.
Take with the bishop or the pawn. They both lose. The correct move, no, but nobody suggested it. Yeah. The only good move is this. Well, if the knight moves, you can take the rook now. Looks pretty scary leaving the knight there, right? Then the engine plays rook back here, defending the rook, and now you take the knight, and it's like equal. Okay. Instead, Gelfand got totally destroyed. He took the knight, okay, took a piece, and then he must have missed white's next move. You promise you won't cry? Mm-hmm. I mean, this move's really good. The obvious move is queen takes knight check. After queen takes knight check, the engine says it's equal. Okay? But this move, Anand used to be good. This is why I cry all night, because I know how good Anand is now. You ready? You sitting down?
Yeah.
Of all the legal engine moves, none of them are to take the rook. If you take the rook, now I play queen g6 check. Obviously, if you play king h8, this is checkmate. Mm-hmm. If you play queen g7, bishop takes e6 check. Damn. King h8's obviously mate. So here, the queen's still pinned, so I take this. You can't take it. Got to go here, right? Mm-hmm. Then I take this. What happened? Where black's pieces go? Right. And white's, the computer makes noise. Yeah. You hear that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the computer being excited. All right. So rook takes e6. God damn. Yeah, that's just crushing. And here's the point. If I play queen takes now, the normal move, and you play queen g7, well, the queen's hanging. We don't have time for any of these niceties. So you got to take on e6 first. And then if he takes this, now we're in time. Now if queen check, we take this with check, with queen g7. Okay. So when Anand played this, he saw rook takes e6. I don't think Gelfand saw rook takes e6. But now the engine just has black resigns. Because in all these games, look at black's pieces. Boo! Okay. So he played king g7, which is fine. Rook takes check. You can't take with the knight because it's pinned. You can't take with the knight because it's pinned. Yeah. And now black has a rook and 2 pieces for a queen. We're not counting the pawns because we never count the pawns. So white has 3 extra pawns. Mm-hmm. Okay. And now we keep attacking with h4, threatening h5. h5 is hard to stop. And then we just keep winning and checkmating and attacking. And you see the engine. +6 for white. So black resigned. Yeah, that was incredible. And when the game ended, black's ready for the next game. So that's good. Yeah. But I mean, Anand just ran him over, even though the engine said black was fine. There's 20, 30 legal moves. You got to play the right one each time. And the key move in that defense was rook e8. Nobody's finding that. You just can't find that. Now, here's how good these players are. If I approach these players and tell them about this game, and they're like, yeah. I mean, Anand's like, yeah, and Gelfand's like, oh, okay. And I say, what did you do wrong? Gelfand today would say, I should have played rook e8, and so will Anand. Even though this game was played 1,000 years ago. They'll be like, oh, yeah, rook e8, he missed it, and I missed it, and all that. And then it would have been equal. That's how good these guys are. Mm-hmm. But Gelfand saved a lot of energy by not moving these pieces. That's why he can play good chess today. He didn't waste all his time. Yeah. All right. That was a pretty good game. Yeah. All right. Last game of the lecture is the game I was told to show by the guy who puts the Anand in Praggnanandhaa, because inside Praggnanandhaa's name is Anand. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. I did know that.
Yeah. Okay. This is the first time they met, and this was in a blitz tournament in Vikanze. It was actually a double thing like we're doing tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So Anand was black in one, then Anand was white in one. Yeah, and then he took a microphone and dropped it, and Praggnanandhaa was like, I don't get it. All right. Now, according to the Gawking Rabble, and the Gawking Rabble was correct, there's a video of this game on YouTube that has 8.4 million hits. The game they played after this, where Anand was white, also has 8.3 million hits. So they like this game. Now, earlier in the chat, Trying to Learn was chatting, but he said he wouldn't be here on Friday because he has to play a tournament game. So either he left during the chat and is playing now, or he chatted and missed his tournament game. I certainly hope he's not here. He has to be away. All right, let me refresh the chat because it says I have 0 people watching.
Hey, can I ask? I want to ask something that's unrelated to anything while it's on my mind about somebody that got banned.
Okay.
Did Raj Cosmos get banned, or somebody Cosmos get banned?
Oh.
Well, there was some other new user ID that says "Bring Back Cosmos." Anyway, I was just curious.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like somebody would get banned.
All right.
Well, let's see. What's this guy's thing about Stella Artois? He doesn't like that we're drinking Stella.
Who?
I don't know. He says it's terrible. Yeah, he's incorrect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people on the internet being incorrect. I can't believe it. Can you? Let's see. New streaming schedule. All right. Chatting from the tournament. Okay, cool. All right. This is the last game. Praggnanandhaa's white. This is a blitz game. It's very exciting. And it was played, I think, a year ago. And Anand used to be the best blitz player. Now he's like number 5, maybe. Okay, they played a Dragon Sicilian, which Anand usually doesn't play, but it's a blitz game, so why not? Well, actually, it was a Dragendorf. Yeah, he played A6. And then white played a very unusual line of the Najdorf, A3, which has been played. And so he just says, well, I'll play the dragon because you played A3. And you shouldn't castle queenside if you play A3. But he did anyway. So he still played this super complicated, yeah. Yeah, castling queenside doesn't make any sense to me because white's already played A3 So that helps black attack. I don't like that move. Okay, so we have a dragon dwarf. It's a dragon and a knight dwarf. And white's playing the Yugoslav attack, but white played bishop e2 and a3. I don't like that. Now it's a blitz game, so it doesn't matter. It's h4, put it in h. Okay. All right. Now after rook c8, what's black's next move going to be?
Black's next move?
Yeah, rook c8, what's the point?
To
It's my stream.
sack.
Got to take on c3. Okay, so white has to checkmate black before black checkmates white. White should play h5. Praggnanandhaa, even if he's only 12, 13 years old, plays sort of slow. g4, double question mark. Okay, the computer prefers white after h5. g4 is too slow. Bam. Sack the exchange here. Okay, now, I like knight f5. And I'm sure Praggnanandhaa knows that because of my great fame. But black has some threats here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the engine move is king b2, dealing with threats. Then black plays rook c8, and then white deals with the threats. And black's down in exchange, and black's attacking, and the engine says it's about equal. But Praggnanandhaa doesn't want to defend. He wants to play like his hero, me. So he played.
Knight f5.
Well, yeah, that's too bad he had to follow my rules. He broke the f3 rule, didn't play king b1, didn't follow enough rules. Okay, threatening mate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he thought after gf, here comes the rook. Here it comes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Anand's like, I was getting mated before you were born, right? So he ignored that. Queen takes c3, he's like, whatever. He didn't care about getting mated. Okay. Now if you play king h8, you get mated. Queen g7 or queen f8. So he blocks with the knight. Now both sides are getting checkmated, confusing the audience, right? You're the audience. And the engine says it's equal. Because it's, engines say everything's equal. Takes. And now he made a bad move. The engine says bishop to d3, defending the c pawn, then maybe e5. We sold a mug. Yeah. I didn't know that it popped up when we sold something.
Forget about that mug.
We sold a mug. Yay.
I promise more merch is
All
coming.
right. So he should play bishop d3 and then keep attacking. But he made a mistake. h5. All right. Now, obviously, he missed Anand's next move. h5 is a blunder. Anand's next move is amazing. It's an amazing move. It's like when Anand was younger. Unbelievable move. Bishop takes e4. Obviously threatening mate.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the bishop. And now after queen check, knight check, it's check every move. So even though white has a mating attack, black keeps checking white. So too late. Okay, he played king e3. If he plays king d3, it's forced mate. White only has one legal move in every position. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Rook f5 is also mate. And then if you play king e6, this is mate. So you play king e4. And there's a lot of mates here. The quickest mate is this one. This is the only legal move, right? And then queen d6 mate, and so forth. Okay, so he can't play king d3. He has to play king e3, which he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, queen c3. This is the same mate that we just looked at. Same position. Let's play bishop d3. And the truth hurts. And there's a skewer here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Anand saw that when he sacked his bishop in a blitz game. He saw check, takes the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, when you see 100 moves ahead, you beat everybody. Yeah. Every move was check, so Anand definitely saw it. Definitely. When he played bishop e4, he said, okay, if he takes, check, wins the queen. And then I win. And he's up a queen.
Mm-hmm.
And white has compensation, but his king is too exposed. Yeah. h6 is a nice move. It blocks this rook from getting him. The rooks are blocked now from getting him.
Yeah.
Good defensive move. Okay. And now he's threatening checkmate everywhere. Everything's checkmate. And then he just wraps up. Wrap it up button.
When was this game?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a blitz game. And this is just him not resigning because it's a blitz game. Yeah, now he resigned because that's a pretty good pawn. Yeah. The only move to stop the pawn is... How do we stop this pawn from queening?
Well, I mean, rook h5.
Rook h5. Now, if we take the rook, then we can queen, right? If we take the rook.
Yeah.
So you check, and then you take the rook. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, ooh, good rook. Yeah. And then Anand's really good when he has a queen for a bishop. So after h2, Praggnanandhaa resigned. Now, normally, Vishy's a very good sport. Congratulate, all that. But when he won, he said, Praggnanandhaa, I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at Praggnanandhaa's name, if you look at it, it's up here. After the N, after the two G's, where my mouse is, then you see the word Anand. See? Mm-hmm. He puts the Anand in Praggnanandhaa, okay, which is illegal in most countries, but it's India's Anand. Okay, then they played again because it was a double Swiss, and Anand won with white. But this game was more interesting. Normally, when Anand is playing a slow game, it's like 30 moves of theory, agree to a draw, because boring. But this is a blitz game. He's playing a little kid, so let's have some fun, right? Play interesting chess, and, the way it used to be, etc. That's also my joke. Praggnanandhaa. Yeah, that's my other joke. Yeah. All right. Yeah, go. Well, it's not that Anand is a top-level player, which he is. Praggnanandhaa is like, when this game was played, was like my rating. So Praggnanandhaa is like number 1,000 in the world, not number like 10. So Anand beating the guy who's number 1,000 in the world isn't the most impressive thing. Much more impressive was this week when the best players in the world were playing, and Anand came in second in Blitz and Rapid. And he came ahead of Hikaru, ahead of Fabiano, ahead of Mamedyarov, ahead of Dubov, ahead of Giri. And for the most part, these people are younger than him. And then some. Probably, if you took two random people in the tournament, they're the same age as Anand. Like, just take two random people, same age. That's not what you're laughing at. Somebody said something funny on that. Yeah. So, pretty good. Also, Nepo. Who else was Grishuk? Who's the one player who came ahead of Anand? Who won the tournament? No? Nothing. I'll give you a hint. He was almost the MVP. Pretty good hint.
MVL. That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, Anand's still pretty good, right? 49 years old, still playing good. Yeah. Wait, what are they saying that's funny?
Oh, I thought Mepex was funny.
What do you say?
Beat a kid like a rented mule.
Yeah, it's like barely funny. Yeah. 10 minutes later. That's a complicated joke Output Coupler told. I'm not even sure if he's kidding.
Wait, where is that?
Well, it's really long. Basically, saying he's in a hospital and somebody died and a baby was born, so they broke even. Could be a true story. Yeah. Not kidding. That did happen.
Okay.
Yeah. The truth hurts. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching the stream. Nobody donated or gave any bits or cheered or did anything, but thanks anyway. The new schedule, which is my away screen, starts after the stream. So Saturdays were off. Wednesday and Thursdays were off. No streaming Saturday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday and Tuesday. Sunday and Monday, 7 to 11 p.m. Sunday and Monday. Tuesday and Friday, 9 to 11 p.m. 500 centidues. Thanks, Mepex. You made Karen happy twice. That's like it takes me like 3 weeks to do that. So we'll be streaming 12 hours a week, and then once a month, probably on a Saturday, I'll do a 12-hour stream. I don't know when I'll stream, but someday and soon, right? What movie?
I don't know.
Someday and soon.
Someday and soon?
Yeah. Isn't it someday and soon? Someday. Well, it's Casablanca, but maybe I'm misquoting.
Oh.
Maybe I was quoting Capablanca. That might have been the problem. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. Simpsons, what? How could you? Yeah. Capablanca. That's right. Someday, that's me. Hey, it is someday. Yeah. All right. He's related to Solemn Bitch. Should I rate Hikaru? He's one of my favorite players.
Let's see.
We got String Dog, Goldust Tori, Chess, and Hikaru. Now, Hikaru's on the chess stream, and he has more viewers than chess. I don't understand that. That sounds like I should refresh. Anyway, you tell me who to and I'll do it.
I think, we should rate Hikaru.
Rate Haruki? You think he'll thank me or I'll be banned?
Everybody needs to be really respectful when you go on GM Hikaru's stream. No, I mean
frankly. Jimbo Matthews, 100 centidudes.
It reflects badly.
I wonder if it's going to say, you cannot raid this stream because Hikaru hates you.
It reflects badly on...
Also, you should show up to the Sinkfield Cup and see if there's the fist fight between Karen and Hikaru.
All of us, if you don't behave.
Are you going to beat up Hikaru in the Sinkfield Cup? That'd be awesome.
No.
But we'd be more famous that way. Yeah.
I mean, I could certainly...
What's more likely in the chat? Let's vote. Karen beats Hikaru in a fight, or Karen beats me at tennis. Which is more likely? One. That's a good answer.
I mean...
One? Karen beats both of you is the most likely. The answer is fries. Ben definitely going to win tennis. All caps, definitely. Man, harsh.
You're no longer my favorite R. Kelly.
What? The other one, R. Kelly's better? Man, at least one of the R. Kellys is now pissed off. Exactly. Yeah. All right. And see you guys Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Right, Karen?